Okay, great morning. I'm going to read a few things from my book. Yes, Wisdom from the Realm of Non Duality. This comes out of the journey that was traveled here. And so I'm just going to grab a few things out of here. Okay, we're going to do read on mind. So any of these things are, they're, I have to stop saying, got a very bad habit of that. So excuse me, but we'll try to not say that so much. So this is on mind. Now, as far as staying within self, yes, keep a watch on your thoughts and stay in the moment. And you will see when the mind starts to play the old tapes, when it does, just change the tape. Give it no energy. Drop it. Come back to the now. It may take some time, although there need be no time at all. But being creatures of habit, we believe it will take work. But the effort sometimes is the downfall. Too much concentration. Just continue to relax and know that you are. You come in alone, you go out alone. All of your experience is unique to yourself alone. The emotions, the thoughts, etc. The mind creates your universe. You have the ability to change your views and perceptions. Realization is waking up to the fact that the Maya realm is mind alone, the dreamland of form, and that the formless constant is the supreme reality. It exists while in form and beyond. Unchanging. Wake up from the sleep of Maya. When ego is dropped and ceases to be, then bliss is. Desire creates the ups and downs. Drop the desire, and only bliss remains. But you are beyond the bliss. Bliss is only the beginning of the realm of Brahman. Okay. This one is number 53, Void, Buddhism, and Hindu. Nothing can proceed from the void which is not truth. All based from truth. And the void is not an absence. It is pregnant with the fullness of existence. Form cannot exist unless there is space or the formless that contains it. While Maya appears to have substance, the essence has never been born nor died. While it permeates all of existence, existence does not affect its essential nature. It is the constant bliss, self-effulgent, which is the pulsating life of consciousness. The form alone does action, that which allows the action to take place, but is not affected by it. It is stainless purity itself, known in Christianity aptly as the Holy Spirit, or in Hinduism as Brahman, or in Buddhism as the void, absolute truth, consciousness, and bliss. All that occurs in the Maya realm occurs to form alone, and the essence is never changed, nor harmed, nor affected in any manner. In the world of duality, trying to explain everything comes out in paradoxes, for it is beyond the intellect in what appears to be the only realm, which is Maya, but there are no paradoxes. This is realization, absolute knowing the truth of existence. That is moksha, or liberation. Moksha or liberation are only, once again, concepts of mind. Realization is seeing that there is nothing you need to be liberated from, For in truth, mind and form have no substance that is lasting. They are only the ever-changing panorama, the movie of the moment. Number 54. Relative mind versus non-mind. Meditation is not time-bound. Once again, you are within mind and relative thought. It can be transcended. Meditation is when the relative mind and the thought patterns have stilled. Absolute silence. The occasional thought passes like a cloud that's not recognized. How do you think sages wrote about the truth? It's not a theory, it's not a hypothesis, it is reality, and you can experience it for yourself. Although experience, it's not a good word. For in experience there's subject and object, but within this there is no within or without, it simply is. You have at that point no consciousness of the body, mind, and thought. They have ended, and the five senses are stilled, but absolute pristine awareness is. While attempting to explain what is, no matter what terms are used, they pale to the truth. Sages throughout the ages have attempted to explain, and in the end, you must concede it's impossible. You can only know by direct experience, where experience is transcended. It happens in a split second of eternity, and once it does, Maya is changed forever. It fades like a dream, a waking dream, and you know that Maya is held in place by mind. Whatever is conceived may be experienced and lived. By Maya recedes not as the primary reality. It becomes secondary, like a byproduct, so to speak. And the reality of realization remains ever pure. You may go then in and out of mind and thought. You watch the personality playing the game of Maya. But Brahman is foremost. Always being situated in the formless, you watch the game of form. And nothing can disturb, for you are not. In reality, in eternity, personality does not exist, and you are ever free in moksha. It matters not at that point whether you are in form or out of form. Okay. 56, steps to realization. The silence referred to is absolute internal silence and stillness, where mind chatter and thought have ended. Okay? Doesn't mean the thoughts are repressed, that you hold them somewhere else, that you submerge them, that you are, compartmentalizing them. No, literally, they stop. The mind is stilled. This is called Turiya Tita. Okay? This can be found in the Rahasya, the book of the Rahasya. Silence itself is not necessarily non-dual in nature, but you must reach the silence before you can go beyond to the non-dual. There is no contradiction and paradoxes cease. Rational or relative mind cannot comprehend nor manufacture in a non-dual. How can this best be stated? The first feeling of a shift comes when the mind is silent. It is as if it has just dropped and a silent peace remains. You can't miss it. The first time, it's rather startling. You begin to be witness, just seeing with no thought or judgment, clear seeing and perceptions, non-filtering. Finally, Through contemplation, you see and know absolutely you are not the body, mind, or emotions. You are in the silence, and then there seems to be a shift, more like a shattering. All the rest drops away, and what remains is that there is no longer even a witnessed or that which is witnessed. You have ceased as personality and are pure, pristine awareness. It's not experience, but that is the closest word to use. Simply, in a flash, all you have thought to be drops out. There is no consciousness of any of the five senses as such. You are not in the senses, yet you are perceiving and know it to be absolute reality, more real than anything ever witnessed or experienced in the Maya realm of relative conditionings. There is no form, no thought, no outer, no inner, no perception of senses, but clearly, absolutely, the primal source, Brahman, the constant is, and you are that consciousness, and that is all there is. You are absorbed back into the ocean that is Brahman. All comes from that source. And then on Maya, it no longer exists in the same way. You know it to be empty in nature and a waking dream state. And in its emptiness, also non-dual in nature. And instead of trying to find the many contained in the one, you know the one and is the illusion of the many. Only relative knowledge takes place in the Maya realm. Knowledge of the absolute is not gained by relative experience. Only when you give up the relative experience and have no desire for the world of Maya can realization happen. And once Anand rises, as it will when the silence is reached, you will have no problem in seeing that Maya has nothing to offer. Right thinking is valuable in the realm of duality. When black and white exist as reality for you, then yes, you must pursue the most sattvic or the highest path of truth which you can comprehend. But you must be willing to drop the notions of right, wrong, black, white, and the last great fear must end. The fear that with realization you will cease to exist, and that the void is death, non-consciousness. While in a sense you do cease to exist, as you know personality only comes with form. But at that point you no longer care whether you are in form or not. In fact, when that is the absolute, then only bliss and wholeness is, and void is life, not death. But not everyone is ready for self-introspection, contemplation, and silent awareness. So yes, discussion of the sutras can be very valuable. But in the end, that also must be dropped. When you go as far as you can by effort, then all effort must be dropped and surrendered. When all is dropped in the right timing, then the experience of realization or the crystallization that you are only Brahman and the shattering of ideations and conditionings in Maya will happen. And instead of reading about it, you will be it. All can and must reach as it must be, for Maya is illusion and realization is simply the truth of being. It's a garden. You plant the seed of truth with sutras. You water it with contemplation. You pull the weeds with introspection. You feed and nourish the soil with awareness. When you have done all you can do, you relax into the silence and let it be. And when the fruit is ripe, you will reap realization. Then you will see there was nothing to gain by relative knowledge, that it is all empty. Mind games come and go, but the truth is constant. If it is relative truth, then it is of the transient and will eventually come to no account. Realization does help in the transient realm of Maya. When you know that the consciousness, then that which is ever in flux does not disturb you. When you have gone beyond relative thought and mind into the emptiness, then you can see mind without distortion. When you have come to the truth of existence, then you are no longer bound by society and traditions or self-inflicted conditionings and bondages. You are free. This is moksha, absolute liberation. Carrying the world, the Messiah complex. Ah, yes, carrying the world and carrying others. We want to save the world, yet we couldn't even save ourselves. But when you save yourself, you find out there is nothing to carry, no weights to burden. In the end, all proceeds from source and returns to source. And source is perfection. Maya is empty. The illusions of mind and body. So what is the worry? What is there to carry? What is the ongoing pain? Absolutely nothing. Stilled awareness. Good morning. Let me first say that within the Advaita ramblings of pretentiousness have heard so many who's that it's sounding like a cacophony of owls. Who is speaking? Who is rising? Who is writing? Who is reading? Who? If who were the only answer, then indeed owls would be the greatest of teachers. If I were the answer, then egos would reign supreme. Beyond the eye of ego rests the unborn, unknowing essence, which when projected in reflection becomes the I am and creation. Stop worrying about who. Let the mind still. Surrender the identity within the stilled awareness that emerges, that has always been. As to silence, as in yin-yang, the balance of silence is sound. One gives awareness of the other while in a divisionary mind. Either or, within awareness and stilled mind, silence is, and out of the silence, sound emerges, and they are one. It's no longer either or. Within the same unending moment, the rising phenomena of sound rests within the constant silence or stillness within awareness without differentiations. It is no longer perceived as either sound or silence, but both are seen to exist within the same moment, like sides of the same coin. Sound is empty in nature. Stillness or silence, essence that vibrates, creates a phenomena of sound or light or form, and they are one. And I'm going to read a couple more. Well, I'm going to read Liberation. The question is, a major difference between the moksha of the Shabd audible life stream and that of Patanjali is the access to liberation through the Ajna chakra, as opposed to the crown Sahasrara in the later yogic systems. Some gurus have claimed that any access to experiential planes of consciousness has to still be in the realms of Maya. What is your opinion of that? And my answer to that was, you don't get liberation by chasing phenomena. Ajna chakra is simply that subtle realm phenomena. Light and sound are both within the realm of moving energy and rising phenomena. Neither does simply reaching a samadhi state by accessing the Sahasrara bring realization. Realization comes when one goes beyond the maya of movement and merges into the stillness and then rests within the heart. Only in seeing through the elusive nature of maya may liberation be entered. Realization is entered when conditionings and identifications are blown apart and experienced as emptiness. Even reaching into the I am projection is not liberation. Liberation is when one first is drawn and dissolved into the pregnant void essence called source. Then one may be spit back out into the I am minus the baggage of illusion. Okay. Okay, and the last one I'm going to read is It's Faith That Pulls One Through Ego's Death. The commentator snipped this from the thing and said, it was only through faith that I was able to surrender within the face of abject terror, the last moment before arising and being pulled through ego death throes and into that termed absolute. And the question was, really? It was faith, not love? My answer was, honestly, yes. In the moment of abject terror, you're not feeling love, okay? In abject terror, you're not feeling love, okay? There is simply, at that moment, the faith to surrender to whatever comes. I just tell it like it happened. There is love before, but in that moment, simply terror and the willingness to surrender in faith. I won't BS anyone. Okay? So those are just a few of little snippets in my book, Wisdom from the Realm of Non Duality, what it is to walk that journey, what it is to live in that consciousness. And so, yeah, I'm happy to put this out there for those that are walking the path to non-duality. Those that have read Ramana, Nisargadatta, etc., will understand what is being said here, as it comes from that direct experience. Okay? And put out there for humanity. Now, I have to say, as a cautionary thing with this book, it's available on Amazon, but the second half of it is where I'm dealing with really nasty, negative naysayers. And I mean, their language gets really salty. Okay, they're calling, absolutely nasty, filthy stuff. And, it was supposed to be cleaned up, and some of it was cleaned up, but there's a lot in there that's just, well, again, this is what one goes through. If you are a teacher, and like I was, a woman from the West, that's a guru, that has an online presence, dealt with a lot of flack and negativity and nastiness. And so it's still contained in there. You can see what that journey, what you have to go through, the swamps that you have to, the swamps that you have to cross when dealing with public and dealing with those that are supposed to be in the spiritual community, shall we say. So anyway, much love and light, and I'll see you online.